Hey, so what we'll do today is have a quick look at Bitcoin, the recent pullback, and discuss really if you should be selling your crypto, or if you should be panic selling, or if you just be chilling and not worrying about this pullback for the moment. So here's the first thing you want to do: is you want to zoom out, okay, and then basically take it from there and see what's happening on the higher time frames, because what that will do is that will give you basically an indication of what the bigger picture move is and what's actually happening. So what we can actually see is, despite at one point this weekly candle, and it's only Tuesday, has dropped down to about 58,500. Okay, you want to see where this closes, because so far round about this region here, you can see that we're not actually getting any closes below really the 60,000 level. If we do get a close below maybe some of these weekly candles over here, then maybe we can look for potential other downside targets. But essentially what we're doing is we've been wicking down here, creating support around this 60k zone, okay, and unless anything changes and we start breaking down further, nothing to worry about. This is completely normal price action. And actually, if you actually think about this, it's actually been quite remarkable strength that Bitcoin has actually managed to shoot back up to essentially new all-time highs, and is actually showing price consolidation, moving sideways, and basically confirming these new price levels at as the new accepted price, essentially, right? We haven't seen any crazy price dumps or anything crazy like that. This is essentially completely normal price action. We're getting actually higher time frame closes above 59, and you can see that we're actually forming this as support. So last time where we got up to these levels, okay, and you can see that essentially we got big rejections, and essentially obviously we got eventually we got that big correction down here in May. Okay, what we're actually doing, we've moved up here, pushed up to new highs, and essentially what we're doing is we are now using this as a base of support. So as long as we don't close anything below 60k, then the bias is basically to remain in this zone. And if we delve a little bit deeper, okay, we can sort of see again, if we look down into the daily, okay, and that we're actually working this price action here, unless we get anything below, I would say, 55, 50k, then we can maybe start looking at lower prices. But this is just completely normal price action. This is probably actually what you want to see from Bitcoin, because the longer we consolidate and move sideways and form this as support, the more likely it is that basically the platform to move higher is going to be bigger, right? If we just move straight up and we kind of form no support and we go straight to 80, 90, 100, okay, you're typically going to get, the market isn't going to be able to sustain those prices. So just look out for that. So this is basically the channel that I would be looking at. But like I said, on the higher time frames, you can still see here pretty clearly we've got big support coming in here around 60k, and we've got this pivot low here at 57. But essentially, we just need to be patient. There might be some more further downside risk. Maybe we take out some stops over here, and maybe if we do take out and close below 57, maybe we can make a push down to about 53, 54. But I will tell you this: I don't think my bias is that we don't see basically lower prices than essentially 50. 55, 53, that will be my worst case scenario, somewhere along this trend line, okay? And essentially what we're doing at the minute is we're just uptrending, we're creating higher highs and higher lows, okay? So don't get, basically shaken out of your positions quite yet. If we start closing lower, fine. And that's pretty much it. And you can see that, it's really easy to get trapped in these zones, because when you're looking at this in real time and you see, 7% down on the day, and it looks like it's going to just make these horrible 12-hour, 4-hour closes. But in actual fact, if you actually look at what's going on, you can see the higher time frame is actually showing you that this is a bit of at the minute, a bear trap region. So basically areas where you don't want to go short, you don't want to be selling, you want to be waiting for the higher time frame closes, and that's going to give you an indication of where price is going. Again, look at 4 hours, like about 15-20 minutes ago, I think we were down at 59k again, and now again we've pushed up to 60. We want to see basically where these higher time frame closes are gonna go. And then there's the other component as well is for me, at least in the short term, is when you get this big correction of essentially like 11% in the space of a day, okay? Like Bitcoin can push quite, it can make very volatile moves, but 11% in a day is probably going to tell you that we're due for at least a pause at these prices to see if we can hold them as support. And then if you look at RSI as well, essentially again, we were super low here at like the 18 level, so I would expect a bounce up here, and just to see maybe if we can maybe move up to this zone and cluster of price action over here at the 64K, and see if we can knock on the door here and essentially try to move higher. But essentially all this is just more consolidation to move higher, and we'll probably, in my view, maybe go over, we're essentially consolidate. Maybe we move sideways, maybe we just do something like this, form another flag, and then again use it as a springboard to move higher. That's basically how I'm looking at it, unless we get any higher time frame closes below maybe this low and into the 58K. So nothing to worry about. My bias would still be consolidation around current prices and move higher. And you can actually see at the minute that we're actually getting, you can see when you zoom in on these lower time frames, you can see that it is getting brought up, and we're getting some quite nice support here, and you can see these deep wicks down here that anyone who got stopped out or was short down here, just don't short or get shaken out of these essentially quite big support. I don't see that there's that much more downside action. This could be the last shakeout before we start moving higher. Let's see. But yeah, essentially that's basically what I'd be looking at. Price targets remain at about 75 to 80K should we break out of this range. And that's pretty much how I look at it from there. And just a quick one again, if you look at the monthly as well, if you zoom out even further, essentially all we're doing at the minute, I mean, yeah, you could say at the minute it looks like some kind of shooting star candle, but I wouldn't be looking at it like that. This to me just looks like consolidation for a whole month in and around these prices of about 60 to 68K, after basically an absolutely insane 40% pump in October. So when you get a big pump like that, you can expect prices to move sideways, to consolidate those prices, to form a base, to give you that support to move higher. So that's basically how I'll be looking at it. Like I said, the main thing to look at here, weekly support from previous prices. Okay, so that's basically what you want to look out for. So long as we hold this level of about 60K and no weekly closes below and in this region here below 60K, then we're good. Okay, yeah, so I'd be holding. That's personally what I'm doing. Any breaks below 58, and we can reassess. Peace out.